I had this wild conversation with a professor that changed my entire approach to spirituality and life in general, and I think it can help you too. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. So I was having a conversation with my church history professor about stuff about our course in his office, and he began to tell me this story that kind of blew my mind. He was from a stream of Christianity that was super conservative and believed that all Catholics were going to hell. And he had begun to become friends with a Catholic scholar that was in his same field. And one of the things that I learned about professors is that they are academics. And so even though they might come from a religious stream that demonizes some group of people, when it comes to academics, they are still going to engage, even if those people are not clean people in their tradition. And that Catholic scholar, and I think that they had some sort of official ordination in the Catholic Church, was all about helping Catholicism understand other streams of Christianity and sort of figure out what do you believe about this? What do we believe about this? And likewise, those other streams of Christianity get a better understanding of Catholicism and the similarities and differences. So they ended up starting an official dialogue, and it was called it was the term for his brand of Christianity, that kind of Christian Catholic dialogue. And they had meetings, they produced papers, and eventually that became known to the leaders in his denomination and in his regional body of that denomination. And he was called into the principal's office. There was a committee of people, because churches love committees, and they sat him down, asked him what he was doing, and chastised him. Gave him a good finger wagging and saying, "This can't happen. We don't believe in this." And then they shut down the meeting, stopped taking minutes, and everything changed. So then they said, "Look, we can't officially endorse this. We had to bring you in and reprimand you, but we think that the way our denomination approaches Catholicism is bad. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not like Jesus. And so we actually want you to continue doing this work. We're going to appoint somebody to supervise you and to give you feedback anonymously, someone who supports this sort of reform within our stream of Christianity, and you will report to them and no one else." And then they gave him one really important requirement. The requirement was that he needed to engage in this work, but his name couldn't be on any paper. His name couldn't be listed in any official program or documentation. He needed to do all of this work anonymously. And as a scholar, that's difficult because you're expected to publish, you're expected to do important work, and you've got to have your name attached to it. And so he realized he had this really important decision. He believed deeply in this work and in the reform that was needed within his stream of Christianity, and he realized that he was the only one who had the kind of access that was needed to make any headway. And what he said was, he realized that what the question was that was being put to him was, should he live out the rest of his academic life, do this really essential work in his life in complete anonymity, or leave the work behind and pursue all of the things that you need to have success in the academy. And he said something that blew my mind at the time. I was really young. I had a huge ego problem. I've worked on some of those issues. And he said that he didn't have to think about it for very long because the answer was clear. He wanted his life to have a meaningful impact in the world and in Christianity. And so he was going to choose to do this work in complete anonymity, that when any history happened, no one would have his name associated with this essential work. And it changed everything for me, because as I was reflecting on it, as I have continued to reflect on it, a lot of the work in the world of spirituality is anonymous. A lot of the help that you give people is confidential and nobody will ever know. And oftentimes in life, you are presented with the option of doing something really important that you won't get credit for, or doing something way less important that you will get credit for, but you'll get the credit. And ever since then, I've done my absolute best to try to live out that lesson that I received from the professor. I don't remember anything specific he said about church history. He was smart, but not a compelling communicator. But I will never forget that conversation.